If you're not successful this time, do you see yourself running again in 4 years?
No, I don't.
That is Donald Trump, or as the must-subscribe to news reports, known loser and quitter says he'll quit if he loses.
No, I don't. I think that will be it. I don't see that at all. I think that hopefully we're going to be successful.
Of course, just because Trump thinks something will happen doesn't always mean it does. As a presidential candidate, he thought Mexico would pay for the wall. As a reality TV star, he thought no one would find out he used the N-word on camera. As a boy, he thought he wouldn't grow up to be a serial rapist. But things may be different when it comes to quitting and losing. Trump has a long history of quitting and losing in both his personal and professional lives, marriages, businesses, children, court cases, lobbying, not raping. He's quit, lost, failed at all of them at one point and or another. In the interview, Trump, who is 78 years old, did not clarify why he doesn't anticipate another run. One obvious possible explanation, death. For one thing, people keep trying to kill him. For another, he's been slow poisoned for years by his greatest enemy, his brain. Trump has been obese for years. When Atkinson asked him to name 2 things he does to stay healthy, Trump said, "I try to eat properly." Atkinson pressed him, saying, "Hamburgers and Cokes?" Trump responded, like a man who's going to die, "Proper hamburgers." You have to subscribe to Jonathan Larson's The News. It's free, and trust me, it will enlighten and entertain you and make you happy. Anyway, the morning crew on CNN reacted to the Trump interview by insisting Trump is pre-losing. First, watch the eye roll of CNN anchor Casey Hunt.
Hopefully we're going to be successful.
All right, our panel is back. David Frum, you heard him there saying he's not going to run again if he loses. Your thoughts?
Trump is pre-losing. He's losing in his own mind. That's why he's desperately selling silver coins when he should be campaigning. That's why Mike Johnson is ignoring Donald Trump's demands and threats and keeping the government open. The speaker is keeping the government open when Trump wants the government shut. That's why his wife is hawking this book. And that's why he seems so depressed every time you see him. He is tasting defeat. He knows what's happening, and he can't exert himself or mobilize himself in order to do anything. That's why he's doing so few events. He's listless, he's lethargic, and he's losing in his own mind. His world is crashing in on him. He's pre-losing.
That's a compelling take by David Frum. Donald Trump does seem to have lost a lot of his energy, especially if you compare his speeches and the frequency of his campaign events compared to his last presidential campaign. Also, Donald Trump seems to have lost his joy and enthusiasm. I'm not so sure I would go as far as to say he's depressed, but Trump certainly has reasons to be feeling a bit down. Here's the latest NBC News polling as reported by MSNBC.
In the latest survey, Vice President Kamala Harris leads former President Donald Trump by 5 points, 49% to 44% among registered voters nationwide. Although that result is within the margin of error, it marks a change from the previous NBC News poll conducted back in July, where Trump led President Joe Biden by 2 points. Since then, Harris has nearly doubled Biden's lead over Trump with women voters, going from 11 points to 21 points. Harris's favorability rating has also soared since July, with 48% of voters now saying they view her positively compared to 32% in the last poll. Trump's favorability has essentially stayed the same since July, with 40% viewing him positively now. Despite being the sitting vice president, Harris leads Trump by 9 points when voters were asked which candidate better represents change. And when asked which candidate they trust more to handle top issues, Trump still leads in most areas, though by smaller margins than in a January poll. Voters trust Trump by 21 points on immigration, by 9 points on the economy, and by 6 points on handling crime. Harris, meanwhile, is trusted more to handle abortion rights by 21 points after Biden led by 12.
In addition to Harris gaining ground on the top issues, the electoral map is also swinging in her favor. And one crucial Republican mistake is making the Harris path to 270 easier. North Carolina. Republicans missed a deadline to change their candidate for governor, so they are stuck with Mark Robinson. Last week, a CNN investigation alleged that Robinson made inflammatory comments on a pornography website more than a decade ago. Robinson reportedly called himself a black Nazi and a perv and condoned slavery. Several campaign staff have now quit, leaving Robinson with a small campaign staff of 3, consisting of just 2 spokespeople and a bodyguard. Robinson is now lashing out and threatening legal action against CNN.
And you've talked about the reporting being salacious lies, not true. Have you taken steps then to prove it's not you?
We absolutely are. We absolutely are. We're in talks right now, everything up to legal counsel to take CNN to task for what they have done to us. We are going after them, okay? We are going to go after them for what they've done. But we have 5 weeks left in this race, folks, and make no mistake about it. We are not going to let CNN throw us off of our mission. Our mission is to win this race. And quite frankly, I am dismayed about the fact, as I said before, think about how many people out there right now, right in the place where we are right now, who are hooked on fentanyl, who are hooked on opioids, and how many will die tonight because of it.
As you can hear, Robinson is trying to get back to some of his previous campaign talking points, but most political strategists now believe that Robinson will lose the governor's race in North Carolina and sink Republicans up and down the ticket. The thinking is that Republican voters, sickened by Robinson's alleged salacious behavior, will simply not show up on Election Day. And if a Republican voter stays home, that hurts not just Robinson in North Carolina, but also Donald Trump. And before the controversy erupted over Robinson, polls showed Trump was even with Kamala Harris in North Carolina. Now, if Republican enthusiasm for Donald Trump is soft and Harris wins North Carolina, her path to 270 electoral college votes is all but guaranteed. North Carolina is literally must win for the Trump campaign. But late last week, Republicans decided not to dump Robinson for another Republican candidate. So, the Trump campaign is stuck with a drag on Republican North Carolina voters. And again, that increases the chances of Trump losing. And just the fact that Donald Trump is now talking openly about defeat and quitting politics is significant. Trump acknowledging he will not run again means admitting he will abandon MAGA. And it may be harder for the MAGA faithful to keep going full tilt through Election Day if they know that Donald Trump's retirement could kick in as soon as Election Day is over. By the way, Fox News hosts have been busted lying about another news organization's actual reporting.
The LA Times, and it is about the preparation that David Muir did for the debate along with his co-moderator. And this is what they said. With co-moderator David Davis, that's Lindsay Davis, had studied hours of campaign rallies and interviews to prepare for the much anticipated event at Philadelphia's National Constitution Center, and were ready to counter the candidates' most egregious statements. I mean, one candidate's, we should say. The decision to attempt to correct the candidates was in response to the June 27th CNN debate between Trump and President Biden, whose poor performance led to his exit from the race. When I read that, I hear, in other words, Trump trounced Joe Biden. That can never happen again. And therefore, we are going to watch Trump rallies, not both, to check one candidate. Except
that is not at all what the article from the Los Angeles Times actually stated. Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Katz, who wrote, "Fox News saved my life. After years in a coma, my nurse put Fox News on my bedside TV. This motivated me to get up and change the channel. Thanks, Fox." Nice of you to acknowledge that there's at least one thing positive about Fox. I look forward to reading your comments about Donald Trump saying if he loses in 2024, he does not see himself running again in 2028, even if he's still alive. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.